I promised you a video and about the difference between time-bound and timeless and novels. Well, what it is about themes and issues or ideas that can be found in books and or stories. And so if we look at a novel like The God of Small Things, it is about a specific family, it is about specific characters or specific people in that family, and it is about specific issues or things that they are dealing with. And these are the time-bound things. They're bound to a specific time and place. They are contingent in some ways. We'll take a look at that word in just a moment. But if you look at it from a general perspective, it's possible to say that The God of Small Things is a book about, or a story about family. I'm just getting out a help sheet for me a little bit here. And that it is a story about society and class, and that it is about memory and the past, definitely about memory and the past, and how we are affected by or can be affected by a trauma that we have, or an important experience that we have had, and that there can be such a thing as a family trauma, an experience that affects a whole family for generations in different ways. You can also say that the story, The God of Small Things, is about the universal, a general issue that can apply across the world about guilt and blame, about how when we feel blame, how do we react? When we blame people, how does that happen? Why does it happen? And so guilt and blame are two issues that are universal, but they can be dealt with in very different ways. And The God of Small Things does that in a specific way. And how is that? How is it time bound in this novel? That's the issue we want to get at. We could say that a theme in The God of Small Things is society and class, and about gender roles, rebellion and transgression, and all that is true on a general level. But if we want to get in specifics, then we have to deal with how is it time bound? How does the fact that it is set in an Indian society affect the interpretation and the story that is being told? How does the time period that the novel is set in affect the story that is being told? If we look at the issue of family, for example, in the novel, we could ask much more specific questions. We could ask questions like, how do you think Chaco feels about Amu at the beginning of the book, in the middle, and at the end? How does that change? How does their family relationship change? And Rahel seems to think that Chaco as something of a surrogate or a substitute dad. How do you think Chaco feels about Esther and Rahel? What examples support your view? So that's a question that's looking at father relationship, but the fact that the father relationship in the novel is treated differently. Chaco isn't an actual father to these children, but he is treated as something of a surrogate or a substitute. And how does that work? And how does he feel about them? That's the question. Why do you think Velya Papen is willing to kill Velutha? What does this say about the importance of social versus family bonds? Often we say family is most important, but social bonds are also something that affect us deeply. And so, and sometimes social bonds can take the place of family bonds, or sometimes family bonds break down and social bonds replace them. Or sometimes social bonds can get in the way of family bonds, or social rules can get in the way of family bonds, definitely. So how does that work in this novel? How does it play out? We also get a glimpse into the perspective of most of the characters throughout the novel. And why do you think we learn so little about some of them, like Baba, Esther, and Rahel's father? Why is that? All right, that should give you some idea of the difference between time-bound and timeless, and universal versus contingent. Contingent means dependent on the specific time and place. All right.